Welcome back to Real Money. I'm Lisa Chastain, your host. It is almost the end of the 2023 year, and I thought it would be a good moment to reflect on why this show even started in the first place. I started this show in 2021 with a desire to bring real, honest, open, vulnerable conversation into the money space. I believe that that's happening, and it's just starting to make a big impact, and I've got more work to do. To me, real money means that we're having the real conversations, not the superficial, look at all the amazing things, successful things that I've done with my life, my money conversations. People get that. There is success in money, and there's also a lot of heart and a lot of purpose and a lot of places that we find ourselves with money that we need help navigating. That is what real money is about, and that is the conversation we're going to have today. Today I have Felicia Wong. I invited Felicia to be on the show today because she's just as real and honest as anyone about where she's at in her life, what she's building in her life. And if you're a millennial woman today, building a career, building a life, this conversation is for you. I'll have Felicia introduce herself on her own. And the reason that I chose Felicia as a guest, like I do all of my guests, is that I believe she's going to be open, honest, vulnerable, and authentic with you. No bullshit. There's enough of that going on the internet today. Let's just lean in and dig in and have an honest conversation. Hi.
Let's do it. Hi. Hi, Lisa.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here
having
today.
Me.
Yeah.
It's great to be here.
Yeah. So why don't you introduce yourself to the listeners?
I'm Felicia. We've met a couple times and it's always been great to see you. You can go a couple different ways with who we are. I can go the CPA, CFP, I've done my certifications, or I can go what really I feel like I bring to things. And I know for certain I'm a hard worker. I love to work with people, and I love to bring my all whenever I'm working with people, whenever I'm talking to people, whenever I'm doing anything. I love to just put everything into that, because if we're not challenging ourselves, if we're not doing our all, again, like, what's the point?
What's the point?
Right. What's the point? What are we doing? And yeah, I love to do things, I guess you could say.
Let's talk about why. Well, let's start here. So I just got a tattoo. I'm going to show it on camera.
I saw that.
See it? It's 100. It's actually, so I took a really rigorous test this last week.
What's the thing at the bottom?
I'll explain it. I took one of the hardest tests I've ever taken, college educated, done a lot of certifications, had my Series 65, went through it. And this test was actually a test of who I'm really made of, what I'm really made of. And even though the goal of the test was to get 100% on the test, I didn't get 100% on the test. And I gave it my 100.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. So that's what you were trying to say, I think.
Yeah.
Not to mansplain
right.
you. I would never do that, right? Who wants that? But that to me, so I put this before I took the test. I wrote it on my wrist in red ink. And when I looked down, it was supposed to be 100%, but it looked like a bird versus 100%. Oh. And I was like, that's really fucking cool, because it's a percent, yes, and it's my freedom.
I love that. Yeah.
That for me, the pursuit is
and
not.
It's right here.
It's right here. It's a constant reminder that for me, no more is it a pursuit to be perfect. It's a pursuit to be my 100%.
Yes.
All day long.
Perfect doesn't exist.
It doesn't.
No.
And you would think that in the finance industry it does.
Oh, no.
Right?
No.
And that's what we're going to talk about today. Because she's like, no, that's not true.
No, because I think we've talked about it before. Even financial professionals don't have it perfect.
They don't.
No.
They don't. But they do a good job on social media pretending that they do.
Oh, they do.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see some good stuff out there.
Good. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Some bullshit. We see some bullshit out there. What inspired you? So with your introduction, I love that you went both ways. There's this professional part of you, and then there's also this
We have many
human.
identities.
We do. Yeah. How young are you? How old are you?
29.
29.
Almost 30.
Yeah.
A couple months.
Things got really good for me and really crazy at 30.
I feel like they just keep getting better. Honestly, yeah. No, in the past, and I think about it a lot, the last 10 years of life, even the last 3 years of life, so many things have changed. So many things have gotten better. And a lot of it, I feel like, comes from just getting older, being around more people and being aware of the people that you're around and the things that you're doing have really helped me to even like ignite myself.
I love that. Yeah. We'll talk about the ignition.
Yeah.
You, on the eve, we'll say the eve of your 30th birthday.
It is.
Professionally, you are one of very few people that I've seen in the finance industry who have both their CFP and your, what is it? CFP and then CPA. I was going to say that, and then for whatever reason I didn't. CFP, CPA. You're very few people that I know that have both. What's up with that? Why would you torture yourself like that?
The CPA, I know. I always loved school. I was just a nerd. I would still call myself a nerd. I love school. I love continually educating ourselves. I mean, you just took a new exam. You said it was the hardest ever. You know the feeling of wanting to push ourselves, wanting to do better. And yeah, I love to learn. So I went to school for the accounting degree. I got my CPA basically a year or two out of graduating. And then from there, I wasn't very happy just doing the accounting. I was an auditor. I was great at auditing, actually.
Public accounting, auditing?
Public accounting.
Wow.
Yes. I did the whole go to the client site, look at their books, look at what they're doing, walk through everything with them. And yeah, it was.
So you stripped them down.
Yes.
You were like, bend over.
I was their favorite person. Gave them, the thing about auditing is that you just create more work for them. So you're really not anyone's favorite person.
No.
You come in and you're like, and it's funny because I was young, very young, like 22, 23, asking them like, oh, what do you do? They're like, who are you to ask me what I do? So it's a weird dynamic.
Wow.
But I learned a lot, but I found that it just wasn't where my actual calling was, you could say. It wasn't what I enjoyed doing.
What, stripping people down?
No.
No?
Exactly.
Okay. Totally get that. Right.
Yeah. So March 2020, right when COVID started, like the whole world was shutting down, I took that as the time to sort of also revamp who I was and what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I started tutoring, actually. I went and I did a couple months or almost a year of tutoring, and I actually reconnected with an old professor. And this old professor, who also is a CPA and a CFP, he was the one who first gave me the idea of the CFP and told me like, hey, you have done all this accounting. You don't want to throw it away.
True.
I was like, you're right. As much as I think I want to, I don't. Because it was hard. They work you a lot in public accounting, and it's a lot. Okay. So from there, he connected me with his daughter as well, who's also a CFP. Well, reconnected. I actually worked for her like a semester, like an intern when I was in college.
Did you go to UNLV?
Chapman University.
Yeah, you told me that.
Chapman University. So out in California.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And they opened my mind up to the CFP. And it was more of a discussion of, okay, so you're here, but what do you really want to do? And I was like, you're right. Like, what do I want to do? That's the big question we're always asking ourselves. Like, what do I want to do? So I ended up taking a course summer of 2021. And from there, I took the exam November 2021. So it was a really, really quick, like short time. And I just got the CFP done. And from there, I've been connecting with other mentors and other people in the industry. And it is way different from the accounting industry. The financial professionals, like the certified financial professionals, CFPs, or people that are in this world are way different than accountants. And I feel like I've found the people that I enjoy working with a lot more.
Oh, good.
Than just because accountants, we're always against deadlines.
Yeah.
You have either the tax deadline or you have payroll deadlines. You have
all kinds of deadlines. That's really actually, I've never heard it said that way. And that's
stressful.
That's so true.
Yeah.
For people who typically do not like deadlines.
Oh, yeah.
How crazy is that?
Yes.
Right? Like CPAs, accountants, you like, not you, right? But generally they like details and flow and systems And those deadlines have got to be really stressful.
Oh, yeah.
Really,
And
really
it
stressful.
causes a lot of, you can see it in people's characters and personalities. It comes out a lot, and you're like, oh, is this a good time to talk to them or do anything? I've had some crazy experiences.
I bet. I want to hear it. I want to hear all of it. Oh my God. I do personal finance,
Right.
which we've talked about. And a lot of my clients will come to me because they want help with their personal finances. And it ends up being that they're also business owners.
Right.
So a lot of my clients are business owners, which is really great. It's really interesting that I get to do that because not many business owners would open up their personal lives to their finance, like their CFO.
True.
But I get to blur that line so that I can help people from all aspects of their lives, which is really cool.
But that's true. Because a lot of times, like for me, right, when I'm working on the tax side of things, I can tell that somebody is having their business and they're running their business, but they don't know how to get that business income, let's just say, to work in their personal lives. And, maybe they'll have a really successful business, but then a lot of the times they don't know how to take those numbers and make it work for their personal lives as well. It's hard to, and so that's a great thing for you to be doing is to taking those pieces and putting them together so that they can live a holistic life of, okay, this is my business, but this business is going to propel me to these personal goals and these personal
bridging that
features
gap
of my life.
Bridging that gap. Okay, so we're going to hang out in the CPA world for just a minute, and then we'll move over wherever we need to go. People hate the IRS. And I think beneath that, they're afraid of the IRS. I've had mortgage lenders on here before talking about how the lending process feels a lot like the Wizard of Oz, where it's like there's this curtain and you give people your information behind the curtain and then they do stuff with that information and then you get it back and either you're approved or you're not approved, right? I think,
Yeah, that's funny.
It does. If you don't, I think there's more information now than ever before. Oh, when I bought my first house, I had no idea why I was approved for my first house. It felt magical.
You're like, well, I'm here. That's all that matters.
I get, but I think with a CPA, it's I think maybe because of the language barrier, almost like you're speaking Italian to someone who doesn't know Italian.
Right.
And there's all this IRS code.
So much.
And then people want to do things the right way. They want to do things the legal way, but then they don't know in their business how that translates to their personal life. They don't know what a Schedule C is. They don't know what a K-1 is. Yep. And I know I can say for me personally, I was like, fuck it.
Just give it to somebody and then just don't worry about it because you think that they're going to take care of it. And that's where a lot of people want to stand. A lot of people just do want to do that. I don't like to do things like that. I do like to break down what things mean, what you should be looking for, especially because you only have to do it once a year, but it is a really important part. If without noticing it, probably spend the most money on taxes. So if you're not aware of how much money that is, that's a big gap too.
That's a big gap.
Like that's a really big portion of your income. So why not try to understand it? So when I'm talking to people and I'm looking at their taxes, I'm always, explaining what the process is, explaining what these schedules are, explaining what you can do to maximize your deductions or credits or whatever you want to call them so that people are not spending more than they need to.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be scared of the IRS. We were just talking about this.
This is perfect too because it's the end of the year and what you do now in November. So if you're watching this, if you're watching this in 2 years, today is November 20th, 2023. And we're going into the end of the year.
Right.
And it is the perfect time to be thinking about taxes. April is not the perfect time to be thinking about taxes. So let's keep talking through that for anyone who's like, well, what should I be doing right now or paying attention to right now?
Yeah. A lot of the things that I talk to people about, it depends on what they have going on. If you have your own business and you haven't looked at your business profit and loss or your income statement, which I know a lot of people do. A lot of people don't look at it until next year, and then they do an extension, and then they wonder why they're paying so much in taxes. But you could have been doing something now. So that's really important. It's important for me, I always tell people, if you can't do it monthly, try do it quarterly. If you can't do it quarterly, try do it semi-annually. You have to do something just because doing nothing is not helping.
And let me back up. So just to help the listener with that, doing it means paying taxes or at least setting money aside to pay taxes.
Right.
And a business expense does not mean automatically that you're not going to owe taxes. There's a lot of controversy about this, a lot of loopholes about this in the world of entrepreneurship. The great spend down happens now between December 31st. Now
everyone just tries to,
just trying to spend it down.
Can I buy a car? Can I do this?
Can I do this? Yeah. Can I do that? What can I do to not pay more taxes? And you have until December 31st to make strategic decisions. You have until December 31st. This is actually the best time to be calling your CPA.
I agree.
Not January 1st, where you wake up and go, oh man. Now is the time because there are still plays that you can operate with. There are still moves that you can make. But once December 31st hits, it's all over for the year.
Exactly.
And please don't call your CPA. This is for you, Felicia, for the longevity of your career, is please do not call your CPA on December 15th without any books being reconciled or done and expect for them to work a miracle. They're going to not want to work with you.
Yeah,
that's horrific. And it happens more often than not.
It does.
You wait,
I feel
you wait.
A lot of the times the profession is taken for granted a lot too.
Absolutely. It absolutely is. That is another reason I wanted you on the show today, is that we can bring light to that, of all the ways that you abuse your CPA. I'm not joking.
About that for ever. Just
all the ways that you abuse your CPA. 1, do not honor the deadlines and expect for them to work a fucking miracle the last minute. I'm saying that word a lot. I'm sorry. Hope it's not offending you.
Oh, I'm not offended at
okay.
all.
So they cannot work miracles or work anything out of their butts. They're not unicorns. So for you to give them something that is not complete or accurate 2 weeks and then say, tell me what to do, is unfair and unkind to a CPA. What else do you want people to know about how to treat their CPA?
We're people just like everybody else. So, like you said, honoring deadlines, honoring that their time is important as well, and that you can't just take something out of thin air.
No.
And understanding that the numbers do matter.
They do.
Because we can talk about tax strategies, like till the day whatever, but as if the numbers don't match up, and if your numbers everyone has their own situation. So the best thing nowadays is that people come and they're like, I saw this on TikTok. And you're just like, oh gosh, not again. And so, realizing that, yes, there are some good strategies out there, and there are people that are educating people out there on the internet, but not everything is to your to your personal situation. So coming in with an open mind too, not getting mad at your CPA for saying you can't do that because you heard it on TikTok, because I've ran into that. And respecting, right? Respecting their time, respecting and coming ready. Like you said, like if you are saying, hey, I need to save money because I'm in a cash flow issue. Well, why are we talking about this now in December? We could have been talking about this a couple months ago.
That's right.
So yeah, being proactive. I love the thought of being proactive.
I think it's great. And if anybody can take anything away, I think it would be that you have to be proactive with your money.
You do.
And your CPA is not the good guy or the bad guy.
Right.
I've had CPAs. So how do you know that your CPA may not be the best for you is also another conversation. Or what are the beliefs that you're operating from? What are the assumptions that you're operating from about your CPA or financial professional?
Yep.
Well, one, they're not here to come in and save the day.
They could try. You could try.
They can try. And also I just got off a call with my bookkeeper before this episode, and we were talking about how people think that a CPA gets them money back. Oh, this CPA is amazing. They get me all this money back.
Yeah, that goes back to not understanding. Like they don't tell them. A lot of times, yeah, I know people who do this. Like they act like they do magic. Like CPAs will do that because they want their client to think that they are doing that. Like I know that the CPA wants them to think that.
They do.
So
what's the truth?
The truth is that we're all doing the same thing. It's not magic. It's more of a game.
It's called IRS code.
Yeah. So, yeah. And so that's the thing, right? If you're doing taxes, if you're doing financial coaching and helping people with their money, obviously we do it every day. And if you're just doing it once a year, obviously it's going to be really hard to understand. It's not going to be something you're going to get right away. It's not going to be just as easy as it is for us who are doing it almost every day.
Yeah.
So but that's more, when people are saying that, it's more so goes back to just not quite taking the time to understand, okay, what actually happened. And so, yeah, maybe you can say, hey, you own a home. We can take your
this
itemized deductions versus the standard deduction, which is maybe what you were used to doing. And so that, in that sense, people can say, they got me all this money back. But those were the deductions you were already eligible for and just maybe didn't know. And that's okay. But it's not magic or anything.
It's not.
It's not like my CPA is getting all this money back. They're doing what you're allowed to do.
And a good CPA will not break the rules for you.
No.
A good CPA will know the rules enough to be dangerous.
That's what everyone says. I know enough to be dangerous.
That's right. And it is not their job to break the law for you. And it is not a CPA's job to bend or flex the IRS code. It will come back to bite you in the butt.
Right. And then going back to how do you know that you found someone that you like?
How do you know?
How do you know? I feel like there's going to be a couple things changing too in this industry because of how complicated the tax code is and how it's probably not going to get easier. I feel like a lot of the times too, people are going to start, and I see this now as niching, right? You're going to start going somewhere where you're going to be able to really understand that code, right? So I see it all the time now, like real estate. I'm helping people with stock equity compensation. Yeah. You see it with nonprofits because it's impossible to know everything.
It is.
I mean, even as a CPA, as a financial professional, we can't know everything. So that's what I see things happening. So if you have, like, say you're really big into real estate, because I know a lot of people who are, you want to find somebody who is that real estate specialist because real estate in particular too has a lot of nuances, a lot of things that you can do, a lot of tax savings, a lot of everything. So that's what I think is going to happen. So you find one that you can connect with, because that's important.
That gives a shit too.
Yeah.
Or has people skills, because there are some CPAs that just don't want to talk to other people.
It's true.
They'd rather not. And that's cool. Yeah. Just know if that's your vibe or not.
Yes. Right. If you're and that's what I'm trying to get away from too, is the transactional side of taxes and CPA. Becoming more involved and knowing people and doing all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So if you want just someone that's going to get you in and out, that's fine. You can look for that. People still are out there doing that. Or if you want, go into it knowing what you want.
Agreed. I like that. I cannot tell you the number of times that I've had clients who have had a transactional CPA where it looks and feels like, okay, let me put everything in a folder and send it off to my CPA or drop it off at my CPA, and then they're going to do their magic.
Yep.
And then
it always comes up.
March 15th or April 15th or whenever the deadline is, I'm going to have my taxes done. And here's what I've also seen happen, that person is gone.
Oh.
So it's like, it's that personal responsibility where you're not really owning it, not you, the CPA, but the person, the business owner, the individual, you're not really owning it. So you ship everything off to the CPA, you cross your fingers, and then all of a sudden that person's gone. Yeah. They ghost you, or they leave the industry, or they weren't really that legit.
Yeah.
Because it was easy. A tax preparer is not a CPA.
Yep.
So they're going to prepare your taxes for you, and then they're gone. And then what we've seen on the other side of it is then the taxes aren't done correctly. They need to be amended. You can't get a hold of that person. So doing your due diligence is really, really important.
I feel like nowadays too, more than ever, just because there's not as many people coming into this industry as there once was before. There's not as many people getting their CPA, and the population of CPAs is growing old and dying. It's so sad. Like, people that have been doing taxes like their whole life, they're working till they die.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep.
I want to do that.
Good. Please don't. For your sake, please don't do that.
For the health and the safety.
I do. I always ask my CPAs, I'm like, do they tell you in college? We had this conversation when we had coffee a month ago. Do they sit you down and say, okay, listen, if you're going to go into accounting, what you need to know is that 7 months out of the year, you're going to have no life. And what you need to know is that you're going to be up against deadlines your whole career. right?
They don't.
There's no talk.
They don't. There's a lot of, because I feel like they know that that's the truth, they try to hide it.
It's kind of like giving birth. It's like giving birth. No one tells you the real deal. You haven't crossed that. You haven't done that yet.
No.
Okay. No one tells you the real deal. And it's a little scary, which is probably why they don't tell you the real deal, right? No one will want to do it.
Yeah. But it's not all bad.
I know.
For people who are interested in this profession, it's not all bad.
Let's talk about the good.
The good.
What's the good stuff? So, okay, so you're a CPA. We kind of talked about that.
Right.
And then there's the CFP side of it, which I think some people aren't familiar with that either. So specifically, we're going to talk, we'll circle back around, but what is a CFP?
A CFP, Certified Financial Planner. So it can be anybody who, it's a very broad industry.
How is it different than being a CPA?
With a CPA, it's all accounting, I would say. You can do tax, you can do the auditing, you can go and do bookkeeping, the accounting side of things. You can even go into tax resolution, whatever. You want to do that. You can represent people in front of the IRS. CFP is focused on all the personal finances. So it is like, I like to think of it as a holistic piece. At least from my perspective, I like to look at it holistically where, okay, so you're an individual. What do you have going on? It can start with insurance. It can start with estate planning, investment management. It could include tax planning. All of those things together to really make sure that you're set for whatever your goals are, whether it be retirement, buying a home, wedding planning,
all of it,
any of that stuff. That's how do you manage your money? Do you have a budget? Right? It's similar to what you do, except for the investing piece. I think is more of a bigger portion of the financial planning.
It's a massive part of it.
Yes.
Most people don't go into financial planning just to do financial plans.
Yeah.
They do it for the asset management part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll come back to that. I'm just jumping around, but I think you're following me as a listener and viewer. Let's come back to the good stuff then.
The good stuff.
What's the good stuff on the tax planning CPA side?
Right. So that did take me a while to find, I'll be honest, right? So I started with the auditing again, and that was not for me. But a lot of people do find that it is for them. And I would say that makes sense because you are finding still a purpose, say whether it is helping the businesses with maybe their financials and making sure that their financials are sound, or you just like working with those types of people. For me, it was just too much because now that I've taken the other side of things, I have more flexibility. So for me, with the tax side of things, I'm happier helping individuals versus businesses, right? I'm happy helping individuals with businesses, but with auditing, it was just focusing on the businesses.
And you weren't talking to the business owner a lot of the time. You're talking to the
accounting people. Yeah, exactly. So with taxes, I thought I was going to go into education. That was like my original thought and plan when I was in school. I was like, I'm going to go teach, maybe start a nonprofit, like do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I was always wanting to help people. So that's where for taxes, I get that little nugget filled up, you could say. I enjoy helping people and helping them feel, because money makes the world go round. Money is a huge part of everything that we do.
Everything.
Why would you work if you didn't want the money?
Yeah.
It's everything. So for that, I feel helpful. I'm able to get the help that I'm able to help people with that they need help with. It's like helping people feel less stress too. So it's like giving them more of a peace of mind. So not only helping them with their financials, but it's like when I try to do taxes with people, I'm like, it can be stressful. I completely understand that. It can be a huge stress indicator for people, but it doesn't have to be. So I try to help people take a step back, say like the best thing that people always say is like, no one's dying. Right? No one's dying. We're just doing the taxes, like it is a huge part of your life, obviously, but it doesn't have to be
I think it's
stress burden.
I think it just comes with a lot of fear. Fear of the unknown.
Yes.
And if you weren't, which most people in America, 3-4% of Americans are millionaires or billionaires, and 12 million women are business owners, which is a very small portion of America. And then another 40, 50 million people are business owners. So, that whittles it down to the number of people who, in one way or another, are kind of forced to look at this stuff and deal with this stuff.
Yeah.
Because until you get to a certain threshold financially, you can wing it, which for me, it's about $200,000 a year you can wing it. And then if you don't pay attention to it, it'll come back around to bite you in the butt, especially in the form of taxes or not paying taxes. If you can wing that even. You can have someone who isn't certified or isn't prepared or doesn't really exactly know, they've just been doing it for friends and family. You can kind of wing it. Winging it does not serve anyone financially.
No, because, and that goes back to how do you live your life too? Because a lot of times I'll see those patterns if people are just pushing it off, and then they come to me for those miracles. I'm like, well, why do you keep doing this to yourself? There's no...
So painful.
It is.
It's so
painful for you. It's painful for me.
It's like the equivalent of like poking your eye with a pencil over and over again. It's
every year.
Every year you just make it so painful for yourself from fear.
Yep. And I feel like a lot of it too, though, is that people don't know that you can plan for your taxes.
Right.
Because they just think like, oh, I've been doing it this way for so many years. Why should I change?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, because if you keep doing an extension, even though you are doing an extension,
penalties
a lot of people,
and interest
continue to accrue or add up. So if you don't pay all your tax by April 15th and you think that you have until October 15th, that's not true. When you do an extension, you get a 6-month extension, but all that tax needs to be paid by April 15th, or else you're just paying penalties, interest, and so on.
Whether you realize it or not.
Yep.
I've made some really costly mistakes in my life. Most of them came from me not wanting to look at what I needed to look at.
Yeah.
And I think that the numbers are so laid out, and IRS code is so laid out. You have to figure it out, but that's what your job is in finance. Is you've done the work, you've done the studying, you know the terms, you know how they work, you know how they work for you, you know how they work against you. And it's our own fear and our own shame.
That stops us from doing so much.
So much.
So much.
And it's like I started the show about like, let me just undress really quick and show you all my shit. And that's the feeling I think that stops people from having a relationship with a CPA or a CFP.
Yeah, because that's what it feels like. Because
let me show you all the ways that I'm not perfect.
Right.
Let me show you all the ways that I don't.
Yeah, you got to find someone who doesn't judge you for what you're coming in with. Because sometimes two people have those conversations and someone will come in and be like, why are you doing this? You shouldn't be doing that. And so then it gets them back in their shell to not like come back out and talk about things. Because that does happen a lot. You'll do someone's taxes, say you just need to do, for example, like 2022 taxes. You get them done, and then they'll come back and be like, by the way, I haven't paid the IRS for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, it happens a lot.
It does, because they want to know that they're safe with you.
Yes.
So they're just going to test it.
Yes.
And I think that's okay. Also, it's okay.
It's part of building trust. It's part of building a relationship.
It is.
On your first date, you're not going to drop all of your information.
Depends on how many drinks you've had.
It can happen. It can totally happen.
Know.
Should you go into your CPA office drunk? No,
you might take a shot and just go for it, right? Like just go for it. But I know how scary it is that when my clients make that first call to me.
Yeah.
And then there's that
step.
It's a big step, and we want to acknowledge that. And that's also why I love you, because you are on a mission to have a safe, healthy conversation for people and open up a door and say, let me teach you. And that is not the case for every CPA. There is a lot of judgment because of black and white rigidity, that there's a right way to do it. And if you don't do it the right way, it's your fault. And I think that we're on the journey together of opening up that conversation to say, it's okay that you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And we can clean it up. I've been a part of client cases who haven't filed taxes for 5 or 6 years. And at first it's scary and it's a lot of work.
It is.
That cleanup takes time and focus and energy, and it's possible. You can clean it up.
Yeah. It's similar to even like getting into a bad like financial hardship, right? It's the same thing. You can work your way out of anything. maybe you just need someone sometimes to like keep you accountable, right? Which a lot of too is just that accountability aspect of things.
And work through the overwhelm.
Yes, because it is the O word.
The O word. It can be very overwhelming. And then you don't know what steps to take first. And then you're just stressed. And then you have life on top of that. What are some of the, you're young in your profession. So when I introduced you, I totally fucked it up. But you're new on your journey in your profession, which means you also have a ton of opportunities ahead of you.
Yeah.
What do you see possible for your industry? What do you see possible for people, for women in the next 10, 20 years? Because you're going to be the one to blaze the trail for us.
I see a lot. Yeah, no pressure at all. No. I see a lot, right? I mean, a lot of what everyone is doing nowadays just goes back to like, what do we want? So if I love like networking with people too, love like talking to people and hearing their story and hearing where they want to go and then helping other people get to that point. I've already talked to people that are younger than me too, wanting to do this exact same thing because it brings so much freedom and I would say joy too to your life to help other people in the finance accounting industry. And so I think just continuing to bring the light to that, continue to bring the light to, okay, this can suck, right? Because we've talked about already the deadlines, blah, 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 this, all that, but it can be really, really rewarding. And so I think and I see so many beautiful women out there doing this and being outspoken and helping others. And I think that's what it just comes down to is just like being open and helping. So as long as we're all open to changes and helping each other, I can see things going really far.
I agree. I want you to be a leader for this industry specifically because there is that misconception with my generation and older generations that if you don't have $250,000 or $500,000 to invest, that there is no help for you. And you have to do it on your own.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing you say that's not the case.
No. Yeah. Especially, I love like the stories too. There's a bunch of stories of, say like people who don't even make like too much money, but it's not about how much money you even make. It's more so about your saving habits and the environment you're around and the people that you surround yourself with to help you make the change. And yeah, if you're out there and you don't know where to start, that's where you start. You start with knowing like I'm here and I want to make a change. I want to do more. I want to do something.
Yeah.
And you do something.
Yeah, and find people to support you.
Yes.
That's a big piece. What's the difference between filing taxes on your own and having someone do them for you?
I think it could mean something different for everybody. Because a lot of the times too, I mean, if you just have one W-2, you can throw that W-2 into any tax software and get it done. And then there's people who, I mean, even that stresses them out. So for me, if it's something that causes you too much stress and you're sitting there for hours on, say, like a Sunday trying to get it done. This was my mom before I started doing taxes. I do her taxes in probably like less than an hour. And she's like, "You're done?" She's like, "I would spend like 4 or 5 hours doing this before like working with you." I'm like, "Why would you do that?" So it's opportunity cost. Right? We always have to think of like, okay, if I do this, I can't do this. If I do this, I can't do this. And you have to really think about that with all choices of your life.
You do.
Like if I go to a CPA, sure, I'll be spending money, but like with that 5 hours, what could I be doing? Right?
So much.
Exactly.
So much. You know, holiday movies are coming up. You could just be watching Hallmark movies.
You could just be hanging out.
Just enjoy your time. Enjoy your life.
Well, here we have one life. So for me, it's like, people have to understand if they do value professional help, right? Because that's what it comes down to too. Is like, okay, do I value this person's time? Do I value them helping me out? Like, what really is going to help me? And a lot of times too, you might get more out of talking to a CPA than you think. Because for me too, when I talk to people, I don't just be like, "All right, here's your W-2. Let's get," like we talked about just now, like, "Here's how much you owe," or "Here's your refund. Bye. See you next time." I'll take a look and be like, "Oh, like, okay, so you're getting this refund. What are you going to do with that?"
Yeah.
You can talk about like what you can do with it. You can talk about even like simple investing or simple saving strategies, you can get more out of seeing a professional than you maybe think.
Agreed. I agree. It's that you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know what you don't know.
Time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So rather than being afraid or ashamed of your situation or afraid to talk to someone because you don't know enough, when you find the right people, I'm a huge advocate for delegation. I'm a huge advocate for financial delegation. And there are some conversations going on TikTok right now about doing it yourself in the investment world in particular, teaching women how to invest on their own and teaching women how to do it themselves. And I'll say, I'm going to throw a big caution flag in that conversation that I think empowerment and education go hand in hand. Educate yourself, learn how to do some of these things. And there is absolute power in delegating because Felicia has spent the last decade educating, you've spent the last decade educating yourself.
Yeah.
How much do you know that someone doesn't now have to go get an accounting degree and a CFP to know what you know?
Right.
And paying professionals for what they do is so worth your time and energy. And paying someone like Felicia, who's trustworthy and kind and has done her due diligence, hire Felicia. 1-800. Just kidding.
Do a plug.
Call 1-800.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, back to the show. I cracked myself up. Sorry.
No, that was good. That was really good.
Okay. So hire Felicia though, seriously. Call her. It's almost to the deadline. It's almost December 31st. When you have your team, back on track, Lisa. When you have your team, you have this element of support. And for me, I have collected experts that I know have my best interest in heart.
That's important. Yeah.
And I realized, so I just went through this really intense experience of meeting myself. I went through an NLP trainer certification program last week, which is why I was out of town.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it was amazing. And I had to meet myself over and over again. And as an entrepreneur, what I realized, it's so cool though.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's so cool. One of the lessons that I learned is that as an entrepreneur and as a big picture person, I miss a lot of details. I would like to think that I can do it all. And having been in the finance industry, I know enough. And I need people to help me from myself and save me from myself.
Yeah.
Don't we all?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Because we can get in our head all the time.
All the time. Literally on my way here, I called my bookkeeper, who's a trusted friend of mine. And I said, hey, I need you to be my CFO. Because as much as I know about money and as much as I have my own, I've got it. There's so much happening right now. I need someone who has it.
Yeah.
I need someone who is watching it and can see it, which is what you were talking about, is pull me out of the situation.
Yep.
Because with money like your mom, how many times have you, talking to you, the viewer and the listener, how many times have you sat down to do a budget or to learn how to invest or to figure something out, do your own taxes, and it takes you forever, which is time, and then it's stressful, so that's costing you the emotional opportunity cost too.
Yeah, not only your actual time, but then how your brain
stress
is
and
going.
beating yourself up and second guessing or risking doing it wrong, which is me. I'll risk it because I'm fine with risk. And then I'll do it wrong. And then it'll cost me so much more to have someone fix it.
All the DIY stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. DIY finance, there's a fine line with DIY finance, a very fine line.
Yeah.
That if you don't know it and you don't spend the time to invest and get the right courses with the right people, you're going to probably regret that decision.
Yourself.
It's going to cost you something.
Right.
For me, I was a financial advisor and I was pulling out money. I was a financial advisor and I was pulling money out of my IRA for my business. And because I was ashamed and I wasn't sharing that with anyone, it cost me thousands of dollars on the back end of that.
Yeah.
I learned from it.
Yeah.
And if I would have just had Felicia in my 1-800 Felicia, just poking fun.
Great.
Okay. Is that, if I would have just had you to call
to see what your options are
and talk through it, which is exactly why I called Jenna today and said, Jenna, I need you to take this over because I can't see it outside of myself. And that's dangerous for me. And that's dangerous for my business.
Yeah. And it gives you peace of mind.
It gives you peace of mind.
Which is worth how much?
It's worth everything.
Yeah.
It's worth everything. So now is the time for you to own it. Now is the time for you to make the call. And can we talk about the year, the planning year from both sides? This is really cool because you have the financial planning side aspect and the CPA side aspect for those of you who are thinking about your whole financial picture. Everybody, I get these questions like, what should I be paying attention to and when should I be paying attention to that? Can you help talk through the life cycle of this for a listener?
Think we almost tried to get here and then we tangentied.
And then I detoured it like I always do. Yeah.
Because we started to talk about this. So and I started with like, okay, it depends on where you're at. Yeah. So we started with the business people. If you don't have a business and you have a W-2 job and you have a salary, the best thing that you can do is take advantage of what your employer has. So if you have a 401k, I know even starting with a 401k, people don't know what that is. It's essentially a place where you can start to put money pre-tax, if it's a traditional 401k, Roth after tax. You invest the money, it's for retirement, you don't take it out, and it grows money for you for later on. That's like a simple way.
And it is a really simple way.
And so for that, and that's what I do with everything. That's something you really want to take advantage of, especially if your employer matches any of what money that you're putting in. That is like free money, you could say.
Yeah. So let me just give an example for context for the listener. Because when I started my first job at UNLV when I was 23 years old, I went to my seminar, my HR seminar, and they were like, you can choose this one with Vanguard or you can choose this one with whoever it was. Pick one.
You're like, what does that mean?
I had no idea what I was doing. I did pick one. And 401ks with the match, find out what your employer match is.
Yes.
It can be 3%, it could be 5%. So it is technically, like Felicia said, free money when you match. You have to also put your own money in. So you have to put 3% of your income in to get the match. And then that just exponentially starts to climb. So even in my own household, they match at 5% right now. 5 or 7. I should know this. But we match up to that right now, and we're planning on increasing it over time. So that's just to clarify. And also know which kind of 401k plan it is, because some are annuity plans and some are full benefit plans. You can probably explain that better than I can. What's the difference between the annuity? You don't know?
I haven't heard these ones.
Oh, okay. Well, here, we're going to talk about it really quick. There's the annuity one where it's the guaranteed income at retirement, but it's not a lump sum.
Oh, okay.
So even though you're contributing to your 401k, the way it's paid out is more like an annuity where it guarantees a set amount of income every single month versus just saying, here's your $1 million.
Right.
Do what you want with it.
Right.
So know that. That's really important distinction. Okay. We're moving on. What else?
So that's a big benefit. And then also, so you can do that every paycheck.
Okay.
Right. So you can do it every paycheck with your employer. And then the other part of that is also if you can also do an HSA. Those have been very popular.
Yeah.
HSAs
break that down for us.
Health savings accounts. And it's only if you have a high deductible insurance plan. And if you have the high deductible insurance plan, you can have an HSA. It works very similarly to the 401k. So you put the money in pre-tax. The money can actually grow tax-free. And when you take the money out for eligible medical deductions, it's also not taxed. So it's a really great tax saving tool. It's not that large. I think it's like $3,600 or so for 2023. It's going up. And then from there too, you can also do, if you already max out the 401k, so that's the important part is like, if you can max out your 401k, that will help like project money
Yeah.
for retirement.
I call it set it and forget it.
Yeah.
It's money that I just forget about every month.
And then traditional IRAs and Roth IRAs are also individual retirement accounts are outside of your employer, but also important to do. And then for other things too, with when you're an employee, you can also just focus on what else you have going on.
Yeah.
And you can start to use your tax. You can start to invest your money. So this is where it gets a little bit more convoluted and a little bit more complicated, is you can invest your money in tax efficient investments too. So that's kind of.
Yeah, those are different things for you to be looking out for and thinking about as a listener, and especially toward the end of the year. For a 401k, for a realtor who wants to open a 401k or an IRA. Well, actually, I'm going to stick with a 401k. There are certain vehicles that you can only open and fund before December 31st.
Right.
We're not going to go through that on the show, but that's what Felicia is for, is to explain that to you, and a professional like Felicia who understands the dance between being the tax person and also the finance person, because not every tax person understands how to optimize and maximize. They should, but they don't, which is it's like a powerhouse combination of the two. So December 31st is the first deadline that you want to start thinking about, because once that hits for the tax year, it's really hard to go back and fix or change things, because what's done is done.
Yep.
Then we have March 15th for S Corps that need to file.
S Corps, partnerships.
Yep. So you know who you are. And then April 15th, and those, depending on what day those fall on, it could be the next Monday, for example, that goes. Right. So that's the next one. And also with tax deadlines, you need to fund your Roth IRA and your traditional IRA.
You have until then, right? For the year prior.
For the year prior. So these are all things, right? So again, just to go back to why you need to hire Felicia, just kidding. Why you want to work with a professional is that they know these deadlines. They will communicate that with you. They're going to, the good ones, I think, the right ones. And then for this younger generation, ones that are in this industry because they truly care about people. And there are people that are Gen Xers and boomers who do too, is that they want to make sure that you're winning. And I want you to hear that today, that the IRS is the IRS. It's going to be what it's going to be. That's how our country was set up to pay taxes.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. So with that, there are people who want to help you set yourself up for success. And I believe, driving this point home today, that the best thing that you can do for yourself is get your team together, and that team will help you grow and thrive in a direction that is going to be sustainable for you. And like me, who makes a lot of mistakes, will help save you from those mistakes, maybe even make you more money in the process. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this was really fun.
It was fun.
Will you come back?
I would love to.
Yeah. As a listener and as a viewer, let us know other topics that you want us to talk about. We can do a much deeper dive into these things. Let us know what's important to you, and we'll have Felicia back and we'll do a deeper dive. What's on your heart to share with the audience today?
Just to be yourself. That's always what I love to do. I love to come in, like I said in the beginning, be myself, bring your all, and don't be afraid. So if there are things like how we just talked about, if there are things that are hurting you that you need help with, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah. Help is here.
Yep.
Help is here. Cool. Play it 100%. You don't have to get 100%, but play it 100%.
You can give your own 100%.
You can give your own 100%. Awesome. Thanks for being here today, Felicia. Where can people find you?
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm a big LinkedIn person, Felicia Wong, and I'm getting into the Instagram, Felicia CPA.
Very cool. We'll put those in the show notes.
Cool.
All right. Have a great rest of the year to you and to your family, and we'll see you all next time.